we are ready for our next class. Now, this is our last class before our midterm test. This is lesson 16 from Speak Now 2. This isn't our last video, but this is the last unit for our midterm test. So we're going to talk today about, is the manager there? We're going to be talking about job interviews and going up and talking to the manager and finding out whether or not we're ready to get the job. Now, some jobs, you're going to go out, you're going to nail the interview, you're not going to get a call back. But then other jobs, you may say, I didn't do very well, but you may get a call back to try again. When you're going out looking for job interviews and you're going out on the job hunt, you're probably going to be out on 10, 15 job interviews. And once you're out on those 10 or 15 job interviews, you might get 1 or 2 offers. This is just the way jobs work. Don't give up. Keep looking. There's a job out there for everyone. All right, so let's get started and let's learn a little bit about job interviews, hunting for the job, and talking to the manager. All right, so when we talk about different things, what are some important things that you should know about the job before you go in? It's always good before you go into a job to do a little bit of research. A little bit of research can save you from applying for a job that's not important. What kind of research do you need? It depends on what kind of job you're looking for. But it's good to know what's the company, what kind of work do they do, what kind of business they have, what are some of the statistics for that company, what are some of the things that you know about that company that are very good, and how you can be a very important thing in that company. One of the most important skills in job interviews is being able to sell yourself. You are the most important asset. Know what you can offer to the company. Know that when you go in and say, I'm going to be the best at this for you, this is why you must hire me, because if you don't hire me, then I'm going to be giving my skills to this other company. So what is it that you can do? Remember, the job interview is selling who you are and what you know to that company. So what are the things that you decide are very important, DI, somewhat important, S, or not important, NI? Company reputation, what is the company like? How big is the company? Small, big? Is the job salary? How many hours a week are you going to work? I mentioned this before in class that when you graduate, probably expect to be working 50 to 60 hours a week at your first job. This is just the way jobs work. Your first job, you're probably going to be working very hard. You might not get started on a salary. You probably are going to start working as an hourly worker. But what are the hours? How many hours are you going to work? Be sure to find out the location. Where is the job? Does it travel? What are some of the benefits? Does it have good medicine? Does it have good dental care? Does it have a good pension plan? These are things you should know and be able to talk about. Know what the responsibilities about the job are going to be. Are you going to be able to do all the things that are required there? It's no good to apply for a delivery job if you can't drive a car or drive a scooter. You're not going to be able to get the food out to anybody. So look at those. And then also, if it's a real good company, look at the colleagues, look at the people that you're going to be working with, and find it out. Find out what's going to be the job of your dreams. Okay, so then here it says look up some information about your job so that you know what you're getting into. All right. Now we're going to listen to a discussion between the manager and Evan about a job interview. So let's go ahead and listen to it. We're going to listen to it 2 times. We're going to change the conversation the second time. So first time, ready, here we go.
Hello, Java Coffee.
Hello. Can I speak to the manager, please?
This is the manager.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Evan Kincaid. I'm calling about the server position you advertised. Is it still available?
It is. We haven't filled it yet.
Great. Can I ask, what are the hours?
You'd work on weekends only. It's a part-time job.
That's perfect. And what would my responsibilities be?
Mostly serving coffee and some light cleaning.
Okay. Do you require any previous experience?
Not at all. We provide all the training you need. Do you want to come in for an interview?
Yes. I can come in today.
All right. So the manager, if he calls up the manager and asks about a job that he saw posted. Now, you at a coffee shop or something like this, you're probably going to speak with the manager. At a bigger company, you're probably going to be speaking with human relations or human resources. Those will be the places that are doing the hiring. There's one problem that I have with this conversation. Hello, can I speak to the managers, please? Now, this is common speech in English. This is something you're going to hear a lot. But people like myself, when they hear this, oh, that just hurts. He should be asking, hello, may I speak to the manager, please? The difference is may is asking for permission and can is asking for ability. Do I have the ability to speak to the manager, please? Well, you picked up the phone, you called me. Obviously, you have the ability to speak on the telephone. And if you had a manager who has a sense of humor like me, then you would probably be made fun of for asking that question. But it's something that happens in common speech in English. So I'm not going to say, oh, this is bad, don't do this. I would suggest avoiding it and switch can to may for this sentence. Not because other people are going to do it correctly and you're going to be doing it only one way, but good English, good questions reflect well on you. And so if you say, hello, may I speak with the manager, please? It reflects better on you, not what everybody else does. The people from my own country and the people back home, yeah, they do use, can I speak to the manager, please? But it's technically wrong. So try to avoid that. And there's a great, can I ask you the hours? Again, may I ask you the hours? Or what are the hours, if you don't mind telling me? This would be something you could ask the person and want to get more information about. And when she says mostly serving and some light cleaning, you have to be more specific what light cleaning is, because light cleaning could be anything from picking up trash, sweeping the floors, mopping, scrubbing. At a coffee shop, you'd have to be prepared to do almost any kind of cleaning that they have there. That's where you have to just find out more specifics. And then getting a job interview later today, that would be great. That's a good opportunity. He's called at the right time to go in. Although I don't recommend calling for a job, I recommend going to the place and actually interviewing and finding out. That would be the first thing I would do. It's better to be in person than on the telephone. But your job interview, it's your choice, and you can make your own decisions. So let's listen to it a second time. As we listen to it a second time, there's gonna be a couple of extra parts that are put in. I think you can put them in the right places.
Hello, Java Coffee. This is Susana.
Hello. Can I speak to the manager, please?
This is the manager.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Evan Kincaid. I'm calling about the server position you advertised. Is it still available?
It is. We haven't filled it yet.
Great. Can I ask, what are the hours? Also, which days is it?
You'd work on weekends only. It's a part-time job.
That's perfect. And what would my responsibilities be?
Mostly serving coffee and some light cleaning.
Okay. Do you require any previous experience?
Not at all. We provide all the training you need. Do you want to come in for an interview?
Yes. I can come in today.
All right, so he's ready, he's eager, he's ready to go for his interview right now. I'm ready to come in for an interview now. That would be a good sign that he probably would get hired by this lady. I know as a manager, I'd probably hire him for coming in for the interviews that day, as long as he was able to provide some information about himself and see how he's got good work ethics. So this is where it would depend on how he presents himself when he comes in. When you go in for your job interview, uh, you don't always have to wear a suit and tie when you go in for a job interview. I would highly recommend suit and tie or dress very, very well. Imagine you're going to, I don't want to put people for religion, but imagine you're going to church or going out to a very nice restaurant. What would you wear there? If you don't have a suit and tie, wear good, clean clothes. Be sure to stop, look at yourself in the mirror before you go. Make sure that your socks match. I know this is something where it's like making sure your socks match. You'd be surprised what people will notice about you in your job interview. Make sure that your hair is right. Make sure that you don't have anything in your teeth. Make sure your breath smells nice. Don't eat anything that has a strong smell or drink anything that has a strong after smell afterwards. In other words, I personally I love drinking coffee, but if you drink a lot of coffee, you can get what's called coffee breath, and it smells kind of strange when you're around someone who drinks a lot of coffee. If you do that, make sure you have something in your mouth that cleans it out, a peppermint or something that gives you fresh breath. Also, make sure that you're gentlemen, you're clean shaven, or that you're if you're wearing facial hair like I do, make sure that it's nice, neat, and trimmed and looks good. Because when you go for a job interview, there are a lot of things that you're going to be judged on before you even open your mouth and ask a question. They're going to judge you on your clothes, your grooming, your hygiene. They're going to judge you on your handwriting. They're going to judge you on your fingernails. They're going to judge you on a lot of things before you even open your mouth for your first job interview. So make sure to make it the best impression that you can. All right, moving on. Now, let's talk about what you could do when you call and talk to people on the telephone. This is one of the most important things you can do in making your conversation start. Starting off, is the manager there? You may find that the manager is available or not. If the manager is there, may I speak with the manager, or can I speak with the manager, please? Oh, God, I can't say that. May I speak with the manager, please? Okay, you have to do it that way. But may I speak with the manager, or is it possible for me to speak with the manager right now? Or could I please speak with the manager, please? That would be a better way. When they answer, oh, this is the manager, or I'm speaking, I'm the manager, or they say, oh, you're speaking with the manager, or I am the manager, may I help you? They'll put you there. Or if they're not the manager, hold a moment, I'll transfer you. Now, when you are the employee, remember those polite ways of answering the telephone because they will also happen. And it's always a good thing to have a good, polite answer to the telephone when it rings. Um, Asking the question, is it still available? Or asking about what they're doing. Ask questions. There are no stupid questions. There are nothing out there that are bad. The only question that is stupid is the one that you don't ask. But you may say, oh, but teacher, what happens if I ask a question that's really, really silly? Well, I'd rather ask a silly question and get a good answer than to not ask the question and it be very important. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions are how you gain knowledge. As I mentioned in the previous lesson of assuming, Don't assume that someone knows information. Make sure to ask for details because it will help you. Not only will it make you look like you're wanting to get more information, but it will also help you to make sure that what you're getting into, you understand everything about it. So understanding the working hours, understanding the pay. That was the one thing that he didn't ask that he probably should have. He should have asked, oh, what is the pay? And as the manager, she should have been able to tell him, oh, it's going to be this. Now, because it's an introductory job, it's a part-time job, most likely it's going to be for minimum wage. But doesn't necessarily have to be for minimum wage. So be sure you ask that question. Now, what are some jobs that you might be able to do while you're as a student? Here you got language tutors, a server. You can work in a convenience store. You could work part-time someplace else. These are different jobs, but I highly recommend, as I mentioned in our previous video in number 15, was trying to find a job that's going to help you with your future career, a stepping stone. This gets you to the next place up in your career because you learn these skills, you take them to the next level. And then you learn these skills, you take them to the next level higher. And not every job is a stepping stone. Some jobs are just that, a job. You're making money because you have to do something. But if you can get a job that helps you, that will guide you to a future career, it will be something that's important to you. In my life, I've had many different jobs. I've worked as a waiter, I've worked as a manager of a movie theater, I've worked as a teacher, I've worked with robots, I have organized events, I have been a house manager, a resident assistant. I've had lots of different jobs. At each of those jobs, I've learned some kind of skill that I've been able to apply to my next job up. Well, except that one job where I was a convenience store worker, but that's for another day. But the different jobs all help you to move forward. Pick jobs that'll help you. If you can't pick a job that'll help you, at least find something that you enjoy doing. All right. Now we're going to listen to the different syllables. Now, in this conversation, we did in the previous 4 units, we talked about syllables and what makes a syllable. Now we're going to talk about the stress on the syllables. In English, we usually make one syllable stressed more than the others, especially in words that are more than 2 syllables. In a 2-syllable word, usually the stress is on the first syllable. Not always, but usually it's on the first syllable. The stress just means that this is the part of the word that's said louder. So when we have syllable, syll is the one that's got the most stress. Syllable. The other two, syllable. And bull are not stressed. And if I change the stress up, I make it syllable. Now the stress is on the middle. And if I make it syllable, now it's on the end. So it can change what the word sounds like. So listen to these different stresses and how they change the word.
Page 39. Pronunciation. A. Listen and practice. Notice which syllable is stressed in these words. First syllable.
Previous. Company.
Second syllable.
Location. Require.
Third syllable.
Corporation. Japanese.
All right, so the stress in these goes on to the different syllables. The first syllable, previous. Second syllable, location. Third syllable, corporation. They change where they are in the word. And as we change different parts of the word, we can also change where the stress is, but that's for another time. Listen to how the manager, listen and practice the underlying syllable that you think has the most stress in these 5 words.
Page 39. Pronunciation. B. Listen and practice. Underline the syllable stressed in each word. 1,
Manager.
2,
Experience.
3,
Position.
4,
Reputation.
5,
Salary.
All right. So mark which one you think.
End of CD1.
End of CD1. No CD there, but that's okay. We're going to move on and discuss the next part. Before we get to our favorite part, look at a manager of a tour guide. Now, think about what hours the tour guide is going to need to do. What are going to be the responsibilities? You are the manager, so you're going to make up what's going to be important for this. Pick a place that you think that the person is going to be giving the tour to, and fill in the responsibilities, fill in what's needed for this activity. All right, so now, of course, we're all going to get to our favorite part. Oh, come on. This is the favorite part of everybody. That's better. We're going to get on and have some fun with workbook. All right, so workbook, first part, matching. Match the things on the left side to the things on the right. So match what you think is going to be the best answer. So if we start with, say, the amount of money you get to do a job, the amount of money that you get to do the job is going to be your wages. Or if you don't have the word wages, another word for wages would be your salary, how much money you're making. So match them. Which one goes to which definition? Now, look at the conversation and put the conversation in order. A through M, all out of order. So try to put it into the best order that you think possible, and then finish off the conversation. All right, now the next part, what is in it for you? Listen to this job interview, this job posting, excuse me, and listen to what the things will be available for you. So what's in it for you? Finding a job is a job in itself. You have to get up early, you have to meet deadlines, and you have to be organized. And you don't even get paid. You're working hard to find a job, so you have to make your hard work matter. Salary. Think about this ahead of time. What is your time and experience worth? Can you work for a lower salary if this job is really interesting? How much money do you really need to pay your bills? Benefits. Health and dental insurance are important benefits. Do you have a family? If so, this insurance is even more valuable. Young single workers might not need these benefits as much. Responsibilities. Make sure that you're able to do your job. If there are too many responsibilities, job may cause you a lot of stress. On the other hand, you want a job that gives you a challenge. A job that's too easy for you would probably become very, very boring. Hopefully it doesn't become very boring right away. Hopefully it's something that you would become bored over time. But these are important things to think about. Especially when you're getting into professional work, especially I know here in Korea, it's very common for people, at least the people that I've been with in business classes around Korea, most of them have worked for the same company ever since they graduate from college. So they've been working for the same company for 20 or 30 years. And this is very, very common. But in America, it's also common for people to move within companies in the same career. So if you are like me, I've been a teacher for almost 20 years now. And I have worked, oh, geez, I've worked for 3 different companies as my main job, but I have also worked with about 20 or 30 part-time jobs in that same 20 years. You may say, that's a lot of work. Why don't you just stay with one place? Well, I go where the work is. Sometimes I may work for a company for 6 months, a year and a half, and then they say, oh, our work, we don't have the budget for this anymore. We're going to move off to another job. Okay. And then you move on to another place. Always be looking for your next job. In the professional industry, it may seem a little strange to move, but as you move between jobs, make sure that your next job is better than the job that you're leaving. And always have a job ready before you leave your old job. Give them 2 weeks notice. A month's notice is better if you're going to leave a job. If you're going to leave the job, give them as much notice that, hey, I'm going to be leaving. I'm resigning my job at the end of this month, or at the end of 2 weeks, I'm going to be leaving. 2 weeks is the minimum that's for professional leaving of a job. Yeah, you make it the dramatic, I quit, and leave immediately. It doesn't look very good on a resume when you quit a job suddenly. You resign, that's perfectly fine. Be sure you check your contract before you give your notice. My personal contract with the university that I have says that I need to give them at least 1 month's notice, preferably 3 months notice, that I'm not going to renew a contract or that I'm going to leave. That's their preference. It's what's in the contract. So when you find your jobs, make sure you check out what it is before you leave, know how much time it is before you go. Knowing your salary, how much is your time worth? A salaried job means that you're going to be getting paid the same amount of money whether you work for 40 hours a week or you work 84 hours a week. A salary means this is the money you're making. There's no extra money. If you work 30 hours a week or 25 hours a week, or you work 85 hours a week, you're getting the same amount of money. So be careful with salary and what the hours that are required. Work it backwards. If you're taking a typical week, budget, okay, I'm going to be working a typical week, say 50 hours a week. I'm going to be getting how much money per hour? Know your value. When you're first starting off, your value is going to be pretty low. Probably, I would say for the first job, you're probably going to be looking for a job that's going to be paying you between $15 or 15,001 and 20,001 an hour. That's pretty typical for an after college first job pay. But as you get more experience, your pay will go up. You may get, if you're very good and very experienced, you may be able to ask for $25 an hour, $30 an hour, or if you're really, really good, $50 an hour or $100 an hour. You'd be surprised just depending on your experience. So the more you can do, the better. Remember what I said at the very beginning of the class when you came to visit. Go for the maximum. Don't do the minimum. If you do the minimum, that minimum money, that's what they're going to give you. If you want that high salary, shoot for the maximum. Do the best you can. Get those benefits moving up. Now, benefits, what are the things that you need? Retirement, health, insurance. Get them started early. Get your retirement started from your first day of working. Get it started. Start working towards your nest egg. Tragically, I lost most of my nest egg a few years ago because of health concerns that happened in my family. And I'm having to rebuild from there. It's much easier if you've been building all the time. And I had been. And that's where I was able to take care of the emergency that came up. We were able to deal with it, move on, and have been building ever since. You have to keep building. Start at the beginning. Start the very first job, very first place. Start your retirement early. Start saving. And make sure that you can physically do your responsibilities with the job, because If you can't do it, they won't hire you. All right, so the last part here, which of the articles, things in the article do you think is most important for you? Answer these questions about yourself. Then write your own job hunting tips. What do you think would be most important for you to find a job? What are the skills that you need to be looking for? And what are the things that you want the most from your job? All right, be sure to share your ideas with someone and get their opinion back about your job. Even if it's just a person up here that you're sharing your ideas with, share them, write them down. And don't forget to do parts 2 and 3. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that brings us to the end of lesson 16. Now we have one more video. We have the review coming up, but this is the last of the units before your midterm test. So practice, 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 and I will see you in class. Bye-bye.